You've probably heard stories like this, right? A dog that just will not leave its owner's side right before they get sick. Or a cat that all of a sudden gets super gentle. Or maybe even really distant. For a long, long time, we just thought of these as, sweet little stories. But it turns out, science is actually starting to back them up. I mean, it's a pretty unsettling thought, isn't it? The idea that our furry best friends, the ones who can't speak a single word of our language, might be picking up on something happening inside our own bodies, something that we are totally unaware of. And that's the big question we're diving into today. So, where does all this come from? Well, it all starts with people just noticing things. Long before any scientific studies, it was just pet owners seeing their animals acting, well, weird. And these weren't just one-off things. They were clear patterns that, looking back, often happen right before a serious medical diagnosis. And these are the kinds of patterns we're talking about. You see these behaviors pop up in stories from all over the world. A dog that suddenly becomes your shadow, a cat that becomes obsessed with sleeping right on your chest, or, and this one is really common, that obsessive sniffing at one particular spot on your skin. At first, you might just brush it off, but in hindsight, these can be really powerful clues. And here's the thing, we're way past treating these stories like they're just folklore or some kind of wild coincidence. We actually have a real biological basis for understanding why our pets might be reacting this way. So, okay, let's get into the science of it. All right, first up, dogs. We all know they have a good sense of smell, right? But the reality is so much more powerful than you can probably even imagine. They literally have a super sense for picking up on the tiniest chemical changes in the world around them. And that includes us. And this slide right here really just puts it all into perspective. We humans, we've got about 6 million scent receptors in our noses. A dog, they can have up to 300 million. That's not even in the same ballpark. It's like comparing a black and white TV to a 4K IMAX screen. They're smelling the world on a level we can't even begin to wrap our heads around. Seriously, just let that number sink in for a second. 300 million. This isn't just about smelling things better than us. It's a completely different reality for them. And this is the biological hardware that makes it possible for them to pick up on signals we completely miss. So, what is it that they're actually smelling? Well, they're detecting these things called volatile organic compounds, or VOCs for short. Think of them as tiny chemical signatures that our bodies are giving off all the time. But here's the kicker. When we get sick with something, our body's chemistry changes, and the kind of VOCs we release, that changes too. So here's how it all connects. Let's say you get sick. Your metabolism shifts gears. Your cells start acting in a different way. All of that changes the actual chemical makeup of your breath, your sweat, even the oils on your skin. Now, we wouldn't notice a thing, but to a dog's superpowered nose, it's like a giant flashing neon sign. They notice that change immediately. Okay, but it's not all about the dogs and their incredible noses. What about cats? They're known for this too, but they play a different game. Cats are absolute masters of observation, and they are incredibly sensitive to tiny little shifts in our physical state and our daily routines. You know how cats are creatures of habit, right? They are so finely tuned to what's normal. So when an illness gives you a slight fever, changing your body heat, they notice. When it changes the rhythm of your breathing while you're asleep, they notice. If you're tensing up your muscles because you're in pain, yep, they notice that too. Same goes for hormonal shifts and any little hiccup in the daily routine you have with them. And this is a really, really important distinction to make. A cat isn't diagnosing you. It doesn't understand the concept of sickness. What it understands perfectly is normal. And when you're not normal anymore, whether it's your body temperature or the time you get out of bed, they detect that difference, and that's what they're reacting to. Okay, this brings us to a really interesting point. How we humans see all of this. Because when our pets suddenly won't leave us alone, or they're curled up on us like a little guardian, it's so easy to see that as sympathy, as love. But what's actually going on inside their head? And it does, doesn't it? I mean, when you're feeling vulnerable or sick, having your pet right there, offering what seems like this deep, profound comfort, it's incredibly moving. We see it as empathy, as them trying to make us feel better. But from their point of view, it's probably way more primal. They're not thinking, oh, my human looks sad, I should give them a cuddle. Their internal monologue is probably a lot simpler. Something like, something is not right. The person who gives me food, safety, and stability has changed, and that's a problem. So that protective behavior we love so much, it's likely an instinct to guard a valuable resource, you. That extra clinginess, it's a reaction to feeling insecure. They're sticking close to the thing that feels unpredictable. And sometimes that anxiety you see in them is just their own stress because their safe, predictable world has been turned upside down. So, knowing all this, what are you supposed to do if you notice your pet acting strange? The goal here isn't to make you paranoid or freak out every time your dog sniffs you. It's about giving you another tool, another layer of awareness about your own body. It's really all about balance. So yes, absolutely pay attention if there's a sudden and lasting change, like they become super clingy or can't stop sniffing one spot, but don't immediately assume your pet is a medical expert or that it's the worst-case scenario. Think of it as a little yellow flag, a signal to just pay a bit more attention to yourself. And if you take away one thing from all of this, let it be this, right here. This isn't a reason to panic. It is a signal for awareness. It's just one more piece of the puzzle of your own health, a quiet little alert from your best friend that maybe, just maybe, it's time to check in with yourself. When you really boil it all down, that's the most amazing part. In our world of complicated language and high-tech medical tests, our pets are working on a level that's just so much more fundamental. They don't need a lab result or a doctor's chart. Their whole world is built on patterns. Patterns of scent, of sound, of routine, and they are experts, absolute experts, at knowing the second one of those patterns gets broken. So the next time your dog or your cat suddenly breaks from their routine and starts treating you in a way that just feels different, take a second. It could be nothing at all, but it might also be the most honest, unfiltered piece of information you ever get. And it just might be worth listening to.
Thanks for watching. Reality X Decoded isn't official teaching. We simply explore and aim to stay as accurate as possible. If anything seems off or you have questions, comment below and let us know what to decode next. Don't forget to subscribe.